What's up? It's the Gigabyte Grizzly Brohemoth, and this is a messed up time we live in, so I need you all to do me a favor. Wear your mask. Like this, not like this, or like this, or like this, like this. Wear your mask. It's for your safety and mine. If I see you without one, I'm gonna pump kick a mask onto your face. Got it?
Announcement from Benjamin C. Steele talking to you about wearing a mask. Not this one, but this one. With everything going on right now with this pandemic, you need to wear a mask. My mask is for your safety, your mask is for mine. I don't care what your uncles, brothers, best friends, mailman's roommate from college put on social media. Chances are they didn't think it through, and there's a very better than average chance that they're an idiot. So when you go outside, you put on your little mask over your face, put the little straps around your ears, and we're all going to be a lot safer. This is a team.
Zeke Mercer, one half of the Tag Team Champions. I'm here to tell you that if you want to be a champion, if you want to survive this thing, wear your freaking mask, okay? It comes in all different colors. You can get Eclipse Blue, JC White and Black, or even hell, Blue and Gold. But guys, please, also remember, please, it goes over the nose. Over the nose. Thank you.
foot or an inch, yeah, I fight for you all. Is the truth and I'm in, yeah, I fight for every breath that I
Parental discretion is advised.
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Just Pro Wrestling News Podcast. No filler, no pop-ups. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect.
Much confidence about my show on Saturday.
At least it's happening
Kidding.
now. At least it's happening now. Like,
Listen, I would not have the balls to click the thing that I just clicked.
All right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know
listen,
exactly
it's
what
one
you
of those, like, this is where the experiment and the problems happen, so it doesn't happen during your. Yeah.
Okay, I'll
That-
type the command in.
To be fair, I am playing with a new setup tonight, like a legit new setup that I have not tried for a live production. So I think we're back.
Parental discretion is advised.
what is that background noise?
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Just Pro Wrestling News Podcast. No filler, no pop-ups. Production services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show. I am Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter. This is 770 Tuesdays we've been talking about professionalized wrestling. I already said my name. Okay, need to drink some more coffee. I'm in Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA for a mere 24 hours before we hit the road again. But we are here long enough to talk about professionalized wrestling and things that are going on in the area and abroad and who knows where and what's going on. And maybe some wrestlers that I met over the weekend. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? First of all, we have with us from Beacon, New York. I almost said the other thing because I heard Matt say the wrong place. He forgot where you were from, Mike. He is the only Mayhemmer with a future endeavor letter from the WWE and the only one with a Slammy award. He is Mad Mike.
And I just recently found out another thing I do not have in common with Batman.
What?
if you know, you know.
I don't know, but okay. Wait, is this that Harley Quinn news that was coming up?
Yeah.
I didn't hear what the thing was, and I presume we should not talk about it on the show.
No, probably not. But
okay.
But Sorg, do your independent research later.
I will do my independent
right,
research.
As of right now, it's an Easter egg. It's an Easter egg for the folks.
I do have a long plane ride to catch up on all the news of the week that I've been missing.
If you know, you know.
Okay. If you know, you know. I think we have another if you know, you know later in the show. Also, he is with us. He is a very important guy over at Ryse Wrestling. Marcus Mann is with us tonight. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. It has been a long time.
It has
since
been.
We've done one of these.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the other day. The last time I have been on the show is Mayhem Mania for the first pandemic mania.
Okay.
So it's been well over a year since I've graced the show. It's actually a lot longer than I thought it was.
There's a certain point, like Marcus. I know, like you're really, of course, you're leading into the first return of Ryse Wrestling this Saturday, June 19th, and the first ever live stream with some awesome partners we'll talk about later. But I know you, like, you're all in on wrestling, and it's, if wrestling's not happening, like, I feel like you deserve your break, and I'm not going to rope you into anything. Is kind of the thing where I'm at with you. It's just like, no, Marcus needs his time so that he's awesome later.
I will say this: since I've been here, I have done a lot of other stuff, obviously, but as someone who, and you guys probably understand this because you guys talk about wrestling every week, and I don't know how you guys possibly talk about wrestling every week.
You should see what the other things we end up talking about when we're supposed to be talking about wrestling.
I know, but I use this time away for a fantastic break from wrestling. Mm-hmm. So I did two things. I stopped watching wrestling completely for a while and just started doing things that I missed doing, like reading books or playing video games or, not having anxiety attacks, those types of things.
Okay.
So the other thing I did, and we can talk about it later, but I had mentioned on Twitter, I think I was talking about this. I went back and I rewatched wrestling from my childhood to find why I liked wrestling. I wanted to find out, was it because I was a kid? Was it because wrestling was better when I was a kid? What was the reasons why? So I rewatched every Nitro and Raw and pay-per-view from 1995.
Oh, why would you do that?
Because that's when I loved wrestling as a kid. That was like the year that I fell in love with professional wrestling.
Oh, that's not a great year.
I know. And so like I did that. So that's like the only wrestling I really like got into over the pandemic.
That's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Who is the MVP of 1995?
I will give you. Wow, are we talking WCW or WWF or combined?
One from each. One from each.
Like me will tell you Bret Hart.
Okay.
Bret is doing yeoman's work in '95. We're talking Lawler, Isaac Yankem, Bob Backlund. This guy's doing everything he can do. Honorable mention for the WWF is Jeff Jarrett.
Okay.
Jeff was having some very good IC title matches with Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon and Savio Vega and like some really good stuff.
Was that when With My Baby Tonight came out, or is that
Yes.
before that?
Yeah, that was 95.
Yeah. Okay. I
So
thought
With My Baby Tonight, all that stuff. Jeff has a really, really good year.
Yeah.
And he's in and out because he's doing, oh God, was it I can't remember
Was it
what.
Smoky Mountain?
I think it was Smoky Mountain. Was it?
Yeah, because I think he comes back at some point with the Smoky Mountain title.
Yeah, so he was in and out a little bit. But still, I will give Jeff Jarrett an honorable mention. In WCW, boy, that's tough.
I mean, I'm assuming it's Hogan, probably, right?
Sting has a really good year.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because Sting's U.S. champ during that time. He's flirting with the main stuff. They're doing a lot of that Sting Lex Luger. Is Luger on the side of the Hulkamaniacs with Sting and Savage, or is he with the Dungeon? That type of like storyline stuff. The weird thing I will mention this about 1995 when you watch both products, and I don't want to get a deep dive in 95. Please don't let me. But I will say this. The two products are starkly different in this way. WCW, their main events are the weirdest, hokiest things you've ever seen in your life.
Man,
and then they have this undercard that isn't Diamond Dallas Page. Honorable mention in 95 is Diamond Dallas Page and what he's doing in WCW. They have these undercards that are really good wrestling storyline based stuff. Then you flip over to WWF and their undercards are hokey character garbage. And then their main events are really, really great wrestling stuff. So it's really unique how the products are completely different in the way they're presenting the product. And then you get into 96 and it's like, it switches on a dime in 96. It's crazy. So I would advise people, you know what? I will say this. I did it when I had WWE Network, and it was way easier to watch all of this stuff than it was on Peacock, because Peacock sucks. But I will advise people, like, I would just pick a year and do that, and it's amazing to go back. And you really get like a feel of like, this is why I like wrestling.
Yeah.
This is why I fell in love with it. So I would recommend some people try that out. What was the year that you fell in love? Go watch that entire year again.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so 1988-ish, 7-ish, maybe. And that's the thing. And look at it again with the same eye that you have now, but with the memories, the member berries of when you watched it. I love that. Okay, some business, and maybe we can get back to this in a moment.
Sure.
But, hey, you guys can reach out to us and let us know what year you started, or let us know in the chat room as well, over at that email address.
Good times.
Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com, 412-206-WMS0. Tweet us at Mayhem Show, Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook page and group. And join us every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on your Facebook Live, on the Wrestling Mayhem Show YouTube page, and over on the Sorgatron Media Twitch page, wherever you like to watch things. And I'm seeing James out there saying 1992 was his year as well.
Cool year.
So there you go.
Mine would be 91.
91. Give me your who's your VIP, or what were you said, Mike? VIP
MVP.
of the year? MVP of the year, your first year of watching wrestling, in the chat room too. And we'll get back to that in a moment. Hey, programming note: we will not be live next Tuesday because Sorg's going on a vacation. So there's been some traveling. It's been pretty crazy the last couple of months, and I'm going to be taking a little bit of time off here for the week. But we will return the next week after. With Katie Arquette is actually scheduled to be joining us that week, so looking forward to that.
Upgrade from your current guests.
Okay, yeah. From Marcus Mann to Katie Arquette. From Beast Man to Marcus Mann. We got all the Mans this month, and then we got Katie Arquette. So we got to even it out. Yeah, follow us all those places, and please subscribe to the show, and please rate the show if you have the opportunity to do that, especially on the Apple podcast side of things. And also thank you to our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show, including our fan of the show level, Bo Diggity! Woo! As well as Ed Burke and Team Hammer Fist. At the Poppy Club level, our friends at OccupyProWrestling.com, Dave Partner, Bobby F.J. Town, the Riz of Riz Plays Games, and Kyle Turner and Dave Red. And at the manager level, our friends Tina Keys, Farnsworth International Investments, whatever. I'm not looking at the list. I'm looking at a different list. And our buddy Heel Bradley out there, still putting his butt boycott out there. So you guys can support the show too and have your funny name read at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Can I say something real quick, Sorg?
Oh, yeah.
One of your Patreon subscribers.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure I'm trying to double check as quickly as possible, but Team Hammerfist, who are really, really good people, made me my custom fanny pack.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ooh.
So it's no secret that myself and Colin Delaney are massive fans of DuckTales.
Okay. Yes. By the way, I just finished the series recently.
Okay, good.
Fantastic. Or at least no, whatever's on Disney Plus. I don't know if they have the entire.
I don't know if the finish of season 3 is on there.
No.
It aired on Disney XD like a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. So
it might or might not. Anyway, there's a scene in the new DuckTales, I believe in season 2, where Donald shows up to a party wearing a fanny pack that says "Party Foul" on it.
Yep.
And I loved the fanny pack, and I made a joke about it on Twitter. And Colin was like, "Oh, we need to get matching fanny packs. Like, we need to get those." And Team Hammerfist, I believe that's who it was, messaged Colin and said, "Hey, we can make that fanny pack." And Colin was like, "I need 2 of them right now. I don't know it doesn't matter what they cost." So they made Colin and I custom DuckTales fanny packs, and we're the only 2 that have them. And they were like, "Here, yeah, we can make these for you." And we said, like, Colin bought it for me. I wear that thing everywhere now. It's so cool, and they're fantastic. They just, like, out of nowhere. Is a fantastic group of people over there. I guess I don't know what else they do. I follow them on Twitter, but I don't really look at anyone's stuff.
So they're friends of the show. I was complaining about not having. Oh man, they're over on the other table.
Vaccination.
Hold on. What's the website again? What's the website, Mike?
Party Foul. This is my party
wait,
foul.
hold on a second.
Fully gimmicked.
Fully gimmicked. That's right.
Okay.
Hold on. Show that again, Marcus, and say something more.
This is my Party Foul fanny pack that they custom made for me. And it's brilliant. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's got and the worst part is I said to Colin, they go, "Oh, dude, it's got this really cool like inside pocket in here." And he goes, "There's an inside pocket?" And I was like, "Yeah." He hadn't even opened his. He'd sent it to me and had not even opened it up. But I wear this thing everywhere now because it's gigantic. It's awesome. It's really great quality. I can't say enough about how awesome it is.
So I was lamenting on how I didn't get a vaccinated sticker. When I got my shots, and he's like, "I got a sticker for you," and he had sent stickers based on there's designs of T-shirts and masks of this awesome skeleton with a giant syringe. So he sent me like a stack of them. So I will continue to promote fullygimmick.com and what he has over there. Is the Party Foul available over here? I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if it was like a one-time custom or if he threw it in here.
I don't know. I think it was a one-time custom for us.
Okay. All right.
I'm not kidding.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I don't see it on here.
Oh man, that's great. Well, you might have a Disney problem if you throw that in there. So, but that is a wild contingent. There's I'm amazed how many people I've seen wear the music artist from the Goof Troop or the Goofy movie.
I have a Powerline shirt.
Powerline, thank you. Like I think I was at a premiere show in Cleveland, and both Celeste Taylor and R.C. Dupree were both wearing Powerline shirts.
Sorg, Powerline is the hottest musical act in Disney.
So this is the same era where like you explained DComs to me.
Right underneath it is Protozoa.
What's
right
Protozoa?
Protozoa.
Where did Protozoa come from? What is that?
Sorg, Protozoa is the highlight musical attraction in Xenon Girl in the 21st Century. How do you not know this?
Oh, that was on your list of DComs for me to watch. After I watched,
it is the first one you should.
After I watched the skating movie, the inline skating movie,
Brink, put some respect on it.
It was somebody was like really putting over the soundtrack of that. By the way, we're not getting to wrestling tonight, apparently. This is the show. Hey, Marcus, when you're asking how we talk about wrestling every week,
yeah,
this is how. I haven't even talked about Loki yet, and I'm frothing to talk about it.
Yes. Oh, geez, that drops tomorrow, and I'm okay. I went have to wait till.
If you ever lonely. Damn it! Now I have. Sorry, this is your fault.
Hello.
I will randomly be throwing in quotes from Goofy movie in all night.
There you go. There you go. I did try to rewatch it, and it didn't. I'm just not that. I wasn't at the right age for it.
You know,
I just aged out of it, man. I just didn't hit that sweet spot.
Sorg, just go fuck yourself.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's
wow.
But you put in Aladdin, and I could tell you every song. So
Sorg.
Yeah.
Sorg.
That's where I was at.
Can tell you every Aladdin song.
By the way,
I know.
can I point out? I read an article, and I know this is we're not talking about this, but let's talk about this. I read an article about the making of The Emperor's New Groove, and how it was not supposed to be a movie at all. They were in the middle of making a completely other movie, and this one just happened. And it is one of the most brilliant tellings of a film that should not exist in any way, shape, or form, but does exist. And people should go out and read it. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say it's an hour read of literally a live telling with everyone involved in the production of the film.
Where was this?
And how I cannot remember where it is. I'll find it and I'll put it in the chat here.
Yes, please do, because I love The Emperor's New Groove. That sounds like a read I need.
I really hope that's like something on Apple News that I can somebody. The thing I love about Apple News is if you pay for the Plus subscription, there are people that have read the magazine articles so that you can just listen to the magazine articles out of Wired. And some of those Wired articles are wildly hey, this is gonna be like 10 pages of full text, and it's just I need to listen to this on a car ride. This kind of thing. I would love to hear more about the lighting pollution problem in this small community in Colorado and how they solved it over the last 10 years. But man, that's not a hot read for me. You know what I mean? But that's I got to kill some time driving back from Louisville. I'm good with this.
So I threw it in the chat. It's actually from Vulture.
Okay.
Who did it. It is a fantastic read. If you want to read about how coming off The Lion King and getting the director of The Lion King to make a movie, and it turned out to be The Emperor's New Groove. It is a fantastic kind of story. By the way, there's a documentary that was behind the scenes filming all of this.
Excellent.
And they try every time it tries to get released, Disney pulls it.
Oh, wow.
Because they don't want people to see the making of the sausage, of how this it's such a story of a corporate entity not understanding how these things work, and creative people.
Emperor's New Groove is the first time they basically put out a straight animated comedy.
Yeah. And it was supposed to be a completely different project that we're talking fell apart in the middle of it. And at one point they go, okay, you keep making your movie and these guys are going to make a completely different movie. And then you're going to pitch in 3 months and we're going to see which movie we make.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's an insane read on how this stuff gets done. I'm fascinated by stuff like that, about how did this happen? How does a screw up happen in a $1 billion company? How do these happen? How does it screw up all the way to the top?
You know what? I've worked with some companies that are very big there where I'm just how did we get to this point? Where did this go on the chain?
I just saw
really
the Eartha kit was
weird.
supposed to block out the sun, and I'm
yeah.
Oh, all right. So we were going full Mr. Burns with this.
It was a weird film they were making about Mayan culture and history, and it was supposed to be again The Lion King, this larger than life musical,
but, not ripped off from another kid's book.
Correct.
Yeah.
or Hamlet.
Yeah.
This is our wrestling show, by the way.
Yeah.
But I will say this:
Jonathan Taylor Thomas was at a WrestleMania. It qualifies.
Well, this all applies.
1995.
This all applies when Disney's gonna obviously buy WWE in the next several months. So
where are you guys at on that? Because I'm convinced that Vince McMahon is Bob Nutting, and he's never going to sell because he wants to hand it down to generations.
I really think once he's gone, it will be sold, or once he has not enough power, and that may be, and who knows, that might be happening with the whole public interest, the public market situation. Something like there could be a takeover of some sort.
So you think someone's gonna Norman Osborn in and say we've got to go back to formula on this?
Is this a Succession issue? Do you guys watch Succession?
No, I haven't watched that, but I keep hearing about it. So yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So I mean, I can see that, and I think I feel like Universal, NBC Universal, Comcast, whatever they are this week, Peacock Land, I feel like they're so invested in it, like they could completely because what's happening we're seeing in streaming is these like mergers and buy plays just to have content for your streaming service. What just happened with Peacock? They more or less, I mean, they basically bought WWE without buying WWE for the next 5 years for Peacock for an extraordinary amount of money. And the HBO Max and Discovery is becoming a thing now. Like that.
Yeah, because Warner screwed that all up and had to, or AT&T screwed all that up and had to split off Warner Media and everything.
So it like that's where the media game is. And remember, like WWE is more a media company than a wrestling company. That's why we kind of like hey, AEW is like still kind of a wrestling company and stuff. So like you're right, they're at that point and that's their focus. WWE is not at that focus of the wrestling. And that's why we're like, what's wrong with this wrestling show every week on podcasts like this?
And you and I have talked about this before on shows, and I've definitely talked about it before, that like the live TV product that WWE has always put out was never intended to be anything more than a commercial for you to buy a pay-per-view.
Right.
Originally. That was the point of the shows.
Yeah.
The ratings and all of that
or tickets,
in the 90s.
Or tickets or other merchandise and things like that. I mean, it is an hour. I mean, it was bought time, syndicated, and it was an hour commercial to come on down to the Richfield Coliseum and buy a ticket. Go buy the Kenner toys or Hasbro toys in the store. Subscribe to the magazine, like to have this ecosystem.
Come watch Andre the Giant fight Hulk Hogan.
And even into the Monday Night Wars, it was still really an advertisement for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it became more pay-per-view because we had one every month.
Yeah, but at least, but during the Monday Night Wars, they're also advertising for next week's show too.
Well, yeah.
They so ratings were big there, but like the shift happened when they started making more money off of the TV deals than they were on the pay-per-views.
Right. Right.
And that's when the shift in everything happened dramatically with the companies. And AEW isn't like, their TV deal is a big part of it, but they're still in the red.
Right. Yeah.
So they're still trying to figure out, how do we sell things long term? How do we build this into a brand that the TV deals will pay for itself? The YouTube money, the merchandising money, the TV money will take care of itself. Where like WWE, I mean, figured that out a long time ago. Where I think their annual revenue is almost $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, what is AEW's annual revenue, like gross? I think it's like, it's nowhere close. I mean, I think
idea.
It was in the Forbes. It was in the Forbes article today they put out on Tony Khan. Hey, do you guys feel this way? I don't really. Go ahead.
I was at 6.9 million per year, according to a quick Google. Google
I'd have to look at that Forbes article again. I read the Forbes article today about Tony Khan.
It's good.
It was one of Did AEW go quickly from like? I remember when it started, it was like, oh, this is Kenny and the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes wrestling company, and now it just feels like Tony Khan's like fun plaything.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
fast, didn't it?
This is why I'm very concerned, because I remember when they first announced the press conference and they were talking with Tony Khan, he's like, oh, no, it's okay. Don't talk to me. I'm just a wrestling fan. I'm just helping out money-wise. I'm not going to be on camera. I'm never going to be a character. And now he's doing fake commercials on a different company show.
So okay, that was the thing, and that was where we're at 2 years ago. I mean, I to say these are your intentions, and then 2 years later it's become what it's become. You're there, but he's also sitting there learning the wrestling business from some of the top in the game with Bucks and Cody and all those people that are coming in. So I mean, it's not. I don't think it's unreasonable to consider being the person that's bringing money in.
Sorg, hold on, I hear something. Is that Dixie Carter I hear?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
Is that wait.
It's also hard.
Yeah.
Listen, it's also hard to tell the money mark no. Okay, and there's plenty of indie companies that have fallen in this trap.
Wait, we brought in Sting. Okay, yeah.
Well, like, how many?
We brought
how
in,
many
we brought in-
people?
Wait, we brought in Christian Cage. What?
How many people?
very
like,
weird.
listen, you're putting money
Wait,
into a product
we brought in
that you.
we brought in someone who represents America, who probably should have been Mark Henry. He's almost like Kurt Angle a little bit. Like,
okay. And Marcus, help me out on this. You
No,
put-
I will. Here's what I'll defend AEW, and I'm not. By the way, I am not an AEW defender in any sort of way. So get that straight. But here's where I will defend them to a certain extent. I do feel like the people at AEW now that are running the company are vastly different in intentionality than the people who were at TNA and Dixie's peak. Because
yes.
I feel like when Dixie was running things, the people that were running TNA were those people who were the wrestlers, the behind the scenes people, were the most interested in just sucking up as much of Dixie's money as possible.
that's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay.
Where I feel like at AEW, they do have a little more, we do want to create a wrestling product that is sustainable. I don't think at TNA's peak of Dixiness, anyone who worked for Dixie was interested in the sustainability of TNA.
And also, a lot of those people that were sitting there at the height of the Dixiness was like the people that were.
That's your word of the day, Dixiness.
Dixiness? Okay, let me write that down. Dixiness. But anyways, so a lot of the people, that were there for the height of Dixiness were also at the height of Bischoff and having a lot of power and here. So it was a lot of people that knew how to play, again, the quote unquote, the power person, the money mark, to get what they want, which was more money or the higher spot on the card. So Bischoff fell to that game, right? Yep. Like he really did. It was a victim of his own success, and
Bischoff
everybody
invented that game.
Yeah, right.
Well, I will say this. To be fair, I think Hulk Hogan invented the game and then taught Eric Bischoff everything he did.
Yeah.
Because Bischoff and Hogan had that very much like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
Here come all my friends on big name contracts.
Yeah. So you saw
How's Ed Leslie getting paid? That's Hogan's first concern. How is Ed Leslie getting paid?
You don't see Hogan. You don't see Hogan. You don't see Bischoff. You don't see Jarrett. You don't see the people that were in that toxic ecosystem. That was the creative over on WCW. That I think everybody's pretty like sound on that, right? You're seeing like who are the influencers in AEW? Obviously, we're talking
the world champion, the tag team champion.
Whoa. So yes, but I think it's still yet to be determined if they're all around positive influences. I think Kenny Omega in that spot is good and good for the company and helps the company and builds something up that hopefully makes it bigger. You use the pieces know. It's the Vince McMahon role, right? Yeah. And when your Vince McMahon happens to be Kenny fucking Omega, you fucking use Kenny fucking Omega, okay?
So I think you're right in that respect. I think that is a long-term thing that we'll find out.
Yes.
Whether or not Kenny Omega, and it's an experiment because you never know. We didn't know if John Cena was going to be the guy until John Cena was the guy.
Right.
You just don't know until you do the thing. So I do feel that you're right in that respect. I do agree with Mike in the fact that outside of their women's title, the title picture has been heavily influenced by either A, the bookers, or B, ex-WWE guys.
Okay.
That's pretty much just been the title picture. Outside of like the women's title and Darby Allin.
Yeah.
That's pretty much been the title picture for all their titles.
Are they still, and this is an argument I have with Mike every week, are they still in this phase where because like Mark Henry's talking about things like Mark Henry literally said something that you've said in the past, and I think Shirley Doe has said as well about like hey, make sure like we're on a Dynamite and like there's people doing suicide dives, and then the next match there's another suicide dive, and then like there's repeated match things going on, and it's like he was talking about tightening the screws. So they're still in that thing, and again, that's something I've heard like you say at indie shows and other shows saying, hey, what are your moves, and make sure you're not repeating, and everybody's doing the same twisty suplex thing every match, right? So at what point, and this was my debate a year ago, so I don't know if this still holds up, but at what point are you like, okay, we need to go with the people that are known against the Vince McMahon role, people that will bring people in, that's your Chris Jericho, that's even your Brody Lee as a WWE guy, that's Cody, and then at what point are our Jungle Boys, Orange Cassidy's, Pac, and I count Pac because I feel like Pac didn't really have a giant WWE thing, or it's so long ago that he's kind of Pac is its own thing, right? You know, when do we get these guys up to the Kenny Omega levels, to the TNT Championship levels? You did get Darby, right? And now it's going to Miro, who I think that's worthwhile. And Miro has been, you know, maybe reinvented a little bit, that it's its own thing, and it's far enough from Rusev that he's not coming right in and hotshot in the title. So I think that's fair. I mean, it's always going to be a mix of people that used to be in WWE because they're bouncing so many people that are still, regardless of their background and being WWE, you know, shine to them or stank or whatever that is. Like you can't, like, Miro is a good guy to have in your company and give a belt. Period.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's a WWE guy.
And Jericho's talked about this in that he was talking about on the like Stone Cold podcast and things like that. You know, you guys, they started a TV product with like people that never work TV before.
Yeah, then they're still learning. They're on the job. It's like when NXT people come in.
So having a Chris Jericho or a Mark Henry or Christian Cage or Big Show or Miro or Andrade or these types of people that are coming
Lance
over.
Archer, like
these are people that have experience of like, this is how you wrestle for a TV audience. This is how you wrestle for TV. It is different.
Yes.
Now, you talk about like things that I talk about at indie shows and stuff like that is because like we kind of follow that same model, which is I want certain moves to have certain impact. So we had like there's an era of Ryse, if you go back and watch, where we had a real problem with spine busters. We're like literally like if we had 7 matches, 4 of them had a spine buster.
It's the Arn Anderson problem.
And it was all that same Arn Anderson spinning spine buster. Like it was just in vogue that everyone was doing it. And we had a real problem with it. And the problem is when it's a comeback move in match 2, it's a falsie in match 4, it's a cutoff, and you know what I mean? Like, so there's different levels of how people take that move and then react to it, that you go like, well, like, is this a big move or not a big move? And so it's hard for me in the main event, if someone does a spine buster as like the big falsie before they go to a finish, for anyone to buy that if they've seen it 3 times and guys pop up from it earlier in the night. So like that's the level where you have to really work with these types of things. And there's also, like, to me, and we've talked about before, there's a flow to the show. And like AEW to me, and I'm just the product. Okay, I got to an age where I realized that everything's not for me, and they didn't make the product for me anymore, and that's fine. You guys can enjoy it. That's fine. It's just not my product. But the flow of the show I have a lot of problem with is that, you're right, like there's just sometimes things are way up and then way down, and I hate that commercial break garbage where there's like people doing stuff during a commercial break with a commercial in the corner, and like, just go to a commercial. Just I don't want that.
I mean that's an industry thing, because you see it now on football and in other sports as well. To hopefully
draw football, you never have plays during.
No. Of course, and of course there's
2 things that you shouldn't do during commercial breaks when they do this, and this bothers me. They love doing it during entrances. Okay. As someone who runs a wrestling product, the entrance way, as someone who does commentary as well, the entrance is the time I sell the audience on who this person is and what's been going on. Who are they? So like I was watching an AEW product, this is a long time ago, I don't know how long ago, and they go to commercial, and I'm seeing a fucking Advanced Auto Parts commercial that's loud as fuck, and here comes out Joey Janela. Now I haven't been watching the product, so I don't know what Joey's up to.
And he's not a known guy. He's not a Chris Jericho, right?
So who the fuck is this guy? I know who Joey Janela is. You know what I mean? But who is he? What's been going on? What's his story? What's he been doing? Is he winning? Is he losing? Is he, I want to hear Jim Ross and, tell me, who is Joey Janela? I want to know a little bit about him. So we don't get that. We get Joey Janela on no entrance, and then we get another, let's say it's Jungle Boy coming out. They're going to wrestle. Okay, great. That's a cool match. But I don't know who they are. We come back and the bell rings, and they're so fast into action that I don't have time for commentary to tell me anything about these guys. The one thing that WWE people, and I remember getting this when Corey Graves had first started doing commentary for NXT because he was a local guy. People had reached out to him and said like, "Hey, what's the thing?" And Corey goes, "Man, you guys got to start doing holds." And they go, "Why?" And he goes, "Because holds is when commentary can talk about you."
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, this is what's going on. This is this person. This is this, what's been, who they are and what is going on and all that type of stuff. AEW doesn't do a lot of holds.
No, they don't.
So it's all fast action, which is great, but I don't know who these people are or what's been going on, and that's a big problem to me. The other time they'll do commercial breaks is like literally in like the comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not.
There's there's like a hardcore match where they're going out in the crowd, and that's when they decide to go to the commercial break, and you're following this. I'm just like, I don't want to watch this. Like, I wish I had a Super Zoom to just kind of rush to it.
It's so frustrating. Like, especially when they had like Marcus. I know you probably didn't see the Blood and Guts match.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the GIFs.
Oh no, but
but I didn't watch it.
During the commercial of the Blood and Guts match, do you know what they did during the commercial?
No.
They did the Bully Ray gimmick where you chop up the ring and pull back the foam.
Okay.
Yeah, you come back,
cool.
you're half paying attention. You come back, I'm like, what the fuck happened to the ring, right?
I don't, because I will say this: there's been a lot of local guys who did AEW's darks and the elevation stuff.
Yeah.
So I won't name names anyway. I'll protect all of the innocent. Okay. But there was someone who had a local match that was just kind of like one of those like, I just didn't like the way the match was put together. You know, wasn't on any of the wrestlers. It was more on the production. And the itching. And so someone goes, "Hey, who put that match together? Because it didn't flow, and the finish was bad, and it came out of nowhere. And it just was a poor flowed match." And I go, "Oh, I found out who." He goes, "Who was?" And I go, "It was Dean Malenko."
What?
So like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, because you're like, if anybody's going to be putting together a good match, it's Dean Malenko, who's been doing WWE for like 20 years.
Dean Malenko, Jerry Lynn, those are some of the producers down there. And just sometimes you watch the stuff and you're just like, I don't know where the disconnect is sometimes with the product in a certain way. And I'm getting on a real AEW rant. I don't want the show to be that.
I wonder if they put together matches for the streaming services and not for the television product. Because because you can watch Impact on Impact. Yeah. You can watch Dynamite on Fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't cut to commercial.
Yeah.
So like if you watch it on there, you'd never know.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's where that's splitting up because they're not thinking.
That's
like
you should be splitting up idiotic. That's your biggest audience.
Yeah, it is. And what's the mandate about like how the commercials are done? Mainstream Matt's in the chat room talking about the timing breaks is especially an issue with WWE, where they cut to a break at times when no one producing live TV. He is a guy who has produced live television, live news television himself. Would ever cut away from the action. So and I think that's more of like, so, and I'm not going to defend WWE in this way because they do have problems with it, but I think that's more of a result of just poor planning of commercial breaks where they're like, we have to get X, so like they have to get so many breaks in. That's yeah.
So like in a like if you're watching an NBA game, or an NHL game, and the action's going and they can't cut to a break, obviously, because the action's going, you wouldn't cut in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And so they have mandated how many breaks that they have to get in. But they know, like, if you're watching an NBA game, that you're going to have a bunch of timeouts at some point at the higher levels that pay more, so you're going to get those ad breaks in at those
TV
points.
timeouts.
WWE doesn't have that luxury. And so whenever they're cutting in the middle of action and stuff, I think it's because they haven't planned well enough on timing their shows out
if you're
to
smart,
fit those in.
You create a character who says he's from, like, he's a representative of Peacock, and he demands in all of his matches that he gets a TV timeout.
Like,
you mean like Cyrus the Virus?
Kinda.
Because I feel like that's something he did.
I'm sorry, if Miz wasn't injured, Miz could do this in a heartbeat.
Like he was representing TNN.
And the best thing, you'd have him try it during a pay-per-view, and he just like, TV timeout. He goes and sits back, and then the guy, his opponent, whoever it is, grabs the mic and says, "We're on pay-per-view," and just beats the crap out of him.
There you go.
Like,
I feel like that was Don Callis in ECW because he represented like the TNN or something, right? Yeah.
The other thing that I've noticed is sometimes I would flip over to AEW because like I have as someone who doesn't watch wrestling often, I know because I'll tune into SmackDown every once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I know.
Man, that show changed when they went to Fox.
Yeah, I know that if I tune into SmackDown around 9 o'clock, there is a good chance I'm seeing Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
Because on those breaks is usually when WWE does that hour break from like 8:55 to like 9:10 is usually when they're putting one of their bigger stars on.
Yeah.
So I know if it's around 9 o'clock on a Friday, if I flip over, I probably can catch Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman and watch a good segment because I love their stuff. And if I tune in at the end of the show, I'm probably going to get Reigns, whatever he's doing. AEW does not do that.
Mm-mm.
I have no idea when anyone I like is on the show.
Other than the women's matches, they're always around 9:30.
I don't know.
That's the only thing we've called out. So.
Yeah.
So
and they are dead set on one women's segment.
Yeah.
But no, like if I want to see what Kenny's doing with the title, like I remember doing that. I was like, oh, it's almost as I think they run 8 to 10 on Wednesdays or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or what I can't remember the time.
Yeah,
but I remember it's like midway through, like 9 o'clock, like if Kenny Omega's doing something, and like it was just some like I think like a Lance Archer match or something, and I was like, what the fuck is this doing on the fucking hour break?
Yeah.
But I'm conditioned to the hour break over 30 years of WWE television. Like they've conditioned me on that when I turn into AEW and they're not doing it, I go like, oh, I don't want to watch this. And then
you also have to remember, like at the hour break, that's when the Monday Night War.
Yes.
That's when they were booking to the commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Like
and you've seen the same thing with Monday Night Football when that's on and things like that. So I want to roll back because I want to talk about something that is working out really well, and that's what's coming up with Ryse. But in the meantime, let's give a shout out IndieWrestling.us. Oh, let's put that over here. .us, IndieWrestling.network, where you can find Ryse Wrestling and some other great promotions from the Pittsburgh area and other great states as well. Our friends at Prospect Pro Wrestling Conquest over there on VOD, some old school Vicious Outcast Wrestling, a lot of familiar faces all popped up there over the years, and so much more. Go check it out. And again, you can check out like the back catalog of Ryse Wrestling is over there on IndieWrestling.network, all the way back to near the beginning of, I believe, 2018. We started working with you guys, right? So a lot of amazing matches. The rise of Lee Moriarty, for instance, some fantastic stuff with the Reaper, Matt Conrad. I think we can call him that again now. It's official. The merch is back. The merch is back. Go check that out. And there's a lot of wrestling there. There's a lot of great interviews that we've done over the years. We had a great conversation, Marcus. I think you were a part of our last conversation we had with Lewis the Nerd on his way out when he basically caused COVID at that point, I think. Go check out IndieWrestling.us. A lot of great stuff up and coming in the coming months, as well as wrestling returns. We will be there to make sure it gets to you if you're not able to be in the Pittsburgh area for once, because I know we have a lot of national, international people checking out what's happening here in the area with Ryse Wrestling and everybody else and all of our great partners over there. So go check it out. And speaking of, like I mentioned, something that will be coming up on there, it is going to be live for everybody June 19th over here in Pittsburgh, PA at the Hope Building Gymnasium. Check out the information, RyseWrestling.com. Get your tickets and everything there. But Ryse is officially returning. This is something I've been holding my breath on because I was really looking forward to seeing it. And I haven't been in that building. I was supposed to go before everything shut down. So, but I can't make it this week. But we got a great crew that's going to be doing our production for that week. So go check it out. I don't even know, where do we start? There's so much happening to this show. There's so much that's happened since the last show. Obviously, the title was defended, recrowned, and then with Ziggy Heim at the Polyam Cult Party 3 that happened here in Pittsburgh. Like, Marcus, where do we start with this?
So here's where I'm going to start. Is that this is legitimately just happened. Okay. Brandon Gay just texted me. He is back He was on a small break, but he is back.
Enjoying
He
his
just texted me.
pictures on Facebook, by the way.
He just texted me, for all of our fans out there, Ryse has officially sold out the floor.
Jeez.
We have sold out the floor seating. The only thing that you can buy on our pre-sale right now is the general admission bleacher seats. Our floor is officially sold out. We're excited. We're excited. It feels like fans are excited. It feels like, for us, we took a very, very difficult choice when COVID hit, which was we were going to just black out. We were just going to take a break, step away, and just take a blackout for the until things we felt were safe. So doing that, you worry that people aren't going to be interested when it's time to come back because you haven't been in their face. You haven't been doing stuff. We had a fantastic retention on our Patreon.
A lot of stuff happening on Patreon. I would see all the notifications.
We were so happy with that. We took a very, very bold step, and through the entire pandemic, our Patreon has been $1. It's a one-time flat, $1 a month fee. There's not tiers. We got away with all of our tiers. You get everything on our Patreon for $1 because people that were supporting us during that time, we also understood that not everyone was having income during that time and they were having difficulties. So we felt that just get away from tiers and do all that for $1. And those people that stuck with us have been fantastic. And it made us feel like coming back wasn't going to be that big of a step. And now that we just found out that we've sold out our floor is a huge, huge thing for me that we've made some right decisions in how we've presented our product. So we're very, very happy. As far as everything's happened, Sorg, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know what's going on in the company. So I will say, so we got into a spot where the pandemic was happening. We're not running shows, and we felt like, should we have champions? I mean, really, what's the call there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because as well as from our product, you go back. Listen, we had a very distinct product in that how long you were a champion for our company was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Matt Connor being a champion for X amount of months or X amount of months out of so many months that the title existed, or how many defenses he had, was a thing that we were trying to make popular. And so we got to a point where it was like, well, if we're not going to run shows for 15 months, what does that do to our title reigns? And so we talked about it. We made a decision, and our commander, who made the decision, and Jim Sterling, who has been fantastic with us. We kind of vacated the titles and we kind of went to black for a little bit. The Ziggy Polycult show was one of the funnest days I've ever had in wrestling. It was a long show. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I was there
she talked about that, how she was the first match and the last match and had 3 hours in between. So.
It was long.
Yeah.
And I hung out with her a bunch, and it was raining and cold, and it was miserable at times, but it was so much fun. Getting to be there and see Ziggy win that title was, I think, for a lot of people, incredibly important. I stand by the fact that she is the first woman to win any company in Pittsburgh's major championship. And that's a history-making moment for her. And we're incredibly proud of her. Now the story is, our commander has stripped Ziggy of the title and is demanding she hand over the title because apparently you got to keep up with paperwork at backyard wrestling shows.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, who knew?
I did not know that there was paperwork involved in backyard wrestling. So we have a full card. We're excited to be back. That's a huge part of it. I will say to our fans who are curious, we have not announced a main event for the show. So you'll have to show up to find out what the main event is. That is rare for me, Sorg.
Yes, it is.
I've never done this.
Okay.
Where you're gonna have to show up and see what the main event is. I have never done that. And so I want people to have a little fun in coming in and not knowing what the main event of the show is going to be. So we're excited. And we're doing it live on Twitch. Holy crap. Do you want me to have an anxiety attack? This is what's gonna happen.
and he's doing it on Twitch, and I'm not there to produce my part of it. But we got a great crew.
No.
So.
The streaming team that we have for Twitch is one of the most professional and wonderful teams I have ever worked with. They are so organized.
Mm-hmm.
They have done their homework. I was going through some stuff the other day, and one of the moderators, they go, hey, I was looking through, because we were trying to get like social media handles for people.
Mm-hmm.
And we have one of our Stronghold trainees who's refereeing on the show. And I go, and I put them in the spreadsheet. Like, oh, they're going to be a referee. This is the referee name, so and so. And they come back and go, well, is this their Twitter handle? And I was like, how did you find that? I didn't even know their Twitter handle. But they're so deep in the research. They're so deep in the knowledge. They really, really are behind the product. They really, really want to showcase it. I'm very excited to try and reach a new audience on Twitch in a new way that wrestling really hasn't embraced before, especially like local independent style wrestling.
Yeah.
There's a massive market on there that we're trying to get into. Sir will tell you, and we've worked together for, like you said, since 2018. I am one of the most risk-averse creative people that he knows. But I'm willing to try stuff, and we're going to try something big, and so we're going to stream this live. So I will say this. Live, if you're thinking about, staying home and watching it on Twitch, it's great. You should. But you are going to get certain things live that you're not going to get on a Twitch stream.
Yeah.
There will be matches that aren't going to be on the Twitch stream. There are things that live you are going to get as opposed to watching it on Twitch. And so that's, it's a big part of this, and we're hopeful that we can entertain two audiences at once.
Absolutely. And if you're on our video, that's a little bit of, this was actually the Polyam Cult 3 pre-show that was produced here with Conrad and Laura over,
Yes.
and this is over on the Jim Sterling Twitch page. That's where you guys will be streaming as well. Yes. So they're going to do this, like and they're going to be amazing. There's Sterling with the Ryse Championship right there in that poster. But it's wild. Yeah, these guys are really got things together. You're going to have a really awesome presentation. You're going to have our crew over at IndieWrestling.us behind the video side of things for the show itself, and then these guys. I'm really looking forward to seeing how everything interfaces together and comes together there. So, because Marcus, here's the secret. I'm going to be watching this show from Las Vegas since I can't be there. So it's it's a win-win. So
it's fantastic for you. The like I said, the team there is so good in what they do.
Yeah,
they're very knowledgeable. They really, really want to make this as professional and wonderful as possible. They are a fantastic stream. If you're into Twitch streaming as well, all of their channels are fantastic. You can find that all over at Jim Sterling's Twitch. Also, Sterling's Patreon you can check out. Sterling's Patreon is, I believe, it's also the same as ours. It's a very, very low entry fee. There's not tiers. You're not paying $50 a month or anything like that. I'm pretty sure their Patreon is also a $1 fee to get the content.
Absolutely.
And so there's podcasts over there, and if you like video games, all of that is a big part of it. We are happy to partner with Sterling, their team, and you guys as well. I think the production value that IndieWrestling.us has always brought to Ryse has been one of the things that always set us apart, in that, you and I have always conversed before these shows of like, how do we make the product look better or look different or look unique as opposed to everything else. And then bringing in a streaming team that is going to be moderate. The only thing that's wild is I didn't think about this, and you mentioned you're going to be in Las Vegas. The streaming team comes to me and they go, hey, we're going to go live a half an hour before the show and do this pre-show. We go, okay. And they go, so what time is that? And I go, well, we go live at 7:30.
Oh, God.
We go live at 7:30. And they go, hey, we're in England. What time zone are you in? And I was like, oh, time zone.
Dude, welcome to the party, because I have had to coordinate, doing a podcast interview with people that were in Egypt and Mexico at the same time.
Yeah.
right? And people I think in our time zone, well, me obviously. So welcome to a whole new game when you get out of like. This is kind of a cool thing, and you know what? I want to leave you with this, and let's go back to it after the break. But isn't it interesting when we get to this point where local indie wrestling is no longer local? Hold on to that for a moment, and we're going to be right back. But first, we're going to give a shout out to our good friends, New York City Style. Yins are made here in Pittsburgh. Slice on Broadway, Beachview, Carnegie, East End, the North Hills. Please go check them out. Fueling the show, pepperoni powered. Perfect. Our friends making the perfect pepperoni pizza for podcasting. That's not the right thing I used to say, but I need more caffeine, and I just found out my flight at 4 in the morning is delayed. So this is gonna be a fun night. Anyways, apparently don't fly Southwest, guys. You might not get there. But no, thank you to SliceOnBroadway.com. We will be right back after this commercial, and maybe we'll have that further discussion, and maybe a little bit about my adventures in Michigan indie wrestling this weekend. We'll be right back. Yeah, I just got a thing. Delays continue for second day on Southwest due to system outages. And I just got oh no. Then turns out I can't get to Las Vegas.
What's up? It's the Gigabyte Grizzly Brohema, and this is a messed up time we live in, so I need you all to do me a favor. Wear your mask. Like this, not like this, or like this, or like this, like this. Wear your mask. It's for your safety and mine. Because if I see you without one, I'm going to pump kick a mask onto your face. Got it?
For a foot, for an inch, yeah, I fight for you all, is the truth, and I'm in, yeah, I fight for every breath that I...
The world of pro wrestling, it's bigger than ever, so how can you possibly keep up with everything that's happening? Just pro wrestling news. Don't fear falling behind. Give us just 5 minutes every morning, and we'll catch you up on the biggest news in the world of pro wrestling. No filler, no rumors, no spoilers, no pop-ups. Just pro wrestling news. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app or tell your smart speaker to play the Just Pro Wrestling News podcast. Find out more. Go to justprowrestlingnews.com.
Wrestling Mayhem Show, we are back. Hey, you know what? We have a whole different setup. I don't know if you've noticed on the visuals. I mean, I think everything's coming up pretty much the same quality as you'd expect. Maybe some stuff is showing up as a different order. But sometimes, maybe, if you get the live show, and I'm deciding to test a new way to do... This is a test bed, if you don't know. Like, the stuff that we do here on Tuesdays are the things that are, like, the experimental things. And then we go and send stuff to Ryse Wrestling and Ann Arbor, Michigan for a week for a big thing, because it all test beds here on Tuesday nights. You guys are our guinea pigs apparently, so sometimes I mean, it's been 16 years of an experiment, Marcus.
It's been that long of an experiment.
It's been yes. We almost have results.
Which one of you then is the Bunsen and which one is the beaker?
I'm the scientist.
Well, yeah, you are kind of officially the scientist. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I think we've had some multiple beakers over the years. So I'm obviously the Kermit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely. What's going
By the way, I think I mentioned this before. One time I got really drunk at a bar with Jackson Argos, and we did an entire indie wrestling show that was just a crossover with the Muppets, and it was fantastic.
Oh boy.
Oh, so I just recently informed the wife that in canon, Beaker and Sheamus are cousins.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I one of my goals is to show her the entire episode of Raw where the Muppets were on.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It is. It was the best.
It's a
best of that era.
episode of Raw.
Yes.
The Muppet. I think I've said this on the show. I had to have. I've said it every day of my life. That I am in a massive petition that needs to happen at change.org to get the Muppets to host the Oscars.
All right. Can I co-sign that, but you co-sign my petition for Weird Al to be the performer at the Super Bowl halftime show?
Oh yeah. No,
Okay.
Weird Al is a
He's a cultural icon.
Cultural icon in America.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if Weird Al isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he needs to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
Absolutely.
instantaneously. But Weird Al as a halftime show would be amazing. His live shows have always been told to have been one of the best live programs.
I also now want Nickelodeon to exclusively host the Super Bowl.
That'd be kind of cool. We just watched.
And if we don't do that, because if we have Nickelodeon host the Super Bowl, you can have Weird Al and SpongeBob SquarePants as the halftime show.
We just watched the Orange Years documentary at my household, which is a fantastic documentary.
Very good.
But it makes you realize that I don't know if that's a nostalgia documentary because Nickelodeon was better then, or is I feel that way because that's when I watched Nickelodeon. I deal with that mental gymnastics a lot of I don't know if things were good or I was dumb.
I think it's a little from column A and a little from column B.
Was I an idiot or was it good?
No, because I think there are certain episodes of certain shows that are legitimately quality television from that era, but I think there's certain stuff that's just crap.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't like everything from that era. I wasn't a cat dog fan.
For its time, Clarissa was pretty wildly bold with the choices they made.
I enjoyed that show, even as because it wasn't meant for me, but I still enjoyed it. That's how good that product was. You know what I mean? There's certain stuff that's they didn't make that for you, but you still find it really entertaining, and you go kind of like me with DuckTales. That's meant for children, and I'm like,
yeah.
If you watch Hey Dude now, it probably doesn't hold up as well as you think. But
no,
for the time, it was fine.
Okay, here's a question for you then. Are you a season 1 or a season 2 Salute Your Shorts person?
Oh man! All right.
Because season 2 is when Penske comes in. Am I right?
Yeah.
He changes the game. He changes the entire game.
See, I think I'd have to go season 2 because this is me personally. I was very upset. I knew a lot of Mikes when I was growing up. I did not see a lot of representation of Michaels on TV. It's true. It's true if you think about it. Think about old sitcoms. A lot of them do not use the name Michael because it's too common. The first character I really saw was Michael on Salute Your Shorts. And I'm like, oh, he's the wimpy guy.
One of us.
And I'm like, nope, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And then Penske came in. I'm like, oh wait, I recognize this guy from Boy Meets World. This is gonna be great.
So rolling back.
I'm
to,
a season 2 yet.
Rolling back to
Oh,
wrestling.
you know what? One more thing before we
And
get.
also, I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
ZZ was the best character on that show.
Yeah. Anyway, I still have a really weird issue from Adventures of Pete and Pete that I can't fill up an ice cube tray and put it in the freezer without thinking about the episode where Artie had like feats of strength, and one of the ones was he had to fill up an ice cube tray of water and put it in the freezer without spilling a drop,
Mhm.
and how it was like nearly impossible. Like I
Yeah.
think about that every time I make ice. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
All right, that explains so much. So I posed
What
the
the
question.
fuck is wrong?
I posed a comment about local indie wrestling not becoming local anymore, or,
Yes.
or something. I'm sure I phrased it better than that. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm sorry. I'm still digesting the ice situation
Yeah,
that you have.
it's fucked up.
It's fucked up. I'm sure I have a few of those too.
I know that.
Yeah, like
I
I
know
can't.
that.
I can't. Like this happens without thinking of like this episode of He-Man or something, right?
It's weird, but it does.
Yeah, it happens. It's just like that muscle trigger memory. Yeah, and yours is ice. So it's a different game now, right? Like, I mean, you guys, of course, you're not the only ones. I've actually had obviously had the fortune to work with, like, say Warrior Wrestling out there in Chicago, which is big on Fight TV and other promotions doing some big things like this. Of course, IWTV. There's so many platforms. So now it's not just we're doing the show to get butts in the seats. We're like on Twitch with the polyam call parties. Like wrestling is kind of like, and I don't think everybody does this. Like, obviously, we've talked about your mindset going into this radical new change with Ryse Wrestling. But I don't think a lot of companies do that, right? But there really is a different, like, hey, we're just going to do the shit we always do for this crowd in a bar and throw it on Twitch and let's do this, right?
Yeah.
Like that. I don't think a lot of those companies, like, great, there's a lot of wrestling on Twitch, but like you can tell, like, it's still like the training's filming it and this is that and everything like that. Like, even on some of those bigger platforms, So I mean that seems like that. There's an interesting evolution that's happening now, I guess is what I want to start the conversation with.
So I feel like wrestling right now, with all of the platforms that you have. So you have IWTV, you have Twitch, you have Fight, you have lots of different platforms and lots of different ways you can YouTube. There's lots of different ways you can watch indie wrestling specifically.
Mm-hmm.
It feels right now much like I'm sure it felt in the 80s when we really got cable TV for people. In that, you start going from, hey, I need to find a way to broadly appeal to everyone to get people to watch this product, to I can more structure my product to a niche amount of people, because that niche amount of people is enough people to really be successful. And I think indie wrestling has started to find that way of like, oh, like, I had this conversation recently with a couple of friends where we're chatting about a couple of things, and we'll bring into like AEW and WWE. Someone has said, well, how does AEW beat WWE? And the answer is they don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's the answer. The answer is you don't compete with that. The answer is you run a different lane and you compete with a different audience. You niche your audience and you grow your audience in that lane more and more and more. How does Under Armour beat Nike? They don't. They find their lane and they niche their lane and way to do it. Indie wrestling specifically has found a way to be even nichier in a way that cable was, in that, like, you like cooking, here's a whole channel about cooking. You like nature documentaries, here's Nat Geo, where you get to watch all this stuff. Cable found us a way to really find your interest and niche it. Indie wrestling, specifically on these platforms, has started to find a way to really niche in that, hey, you really like story-driven content, or you really like hardcore content, or you really like deathmatch content, or you really like comedy content, or whatever you like. Now, there may only be 100 people in your town that really want to watch that product, but there might be 5,000 people across the country that want that product and can find that product and can get into that lane, that makes it so diversifiable right now in a way that I don't think wrestling has ever been that diversifiable in the history of it. Maybe in the territorial days, maybe, in that, like, you were different products did different things different ways and stuff like that, but it's really niched in a unique way now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like so. I mean, we always have the thing on the show, and of course, we had some messages from Chachi a couple of weeks ago about like, hey, we complain about WWE all the time, and it's like, stop watching it. And of course, we as a podcast want to kind of still keep an eye on it. I have leaned on the watching Raw and Raw less and less, actually, myself, and more. I will watch every freaking AEW YouTube show, or I will watch, as hopefully we'll have time to still talk about, every random ass indie wrestling that I will find on my travels, on my business travels, and we went to 2 in the Detroit area this week, and they were very interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's really true alternatives at this point, aren't there? And it's a cool thing, like you can follow like a Lee Moriarty for the most part as he passed through a lot of these things, right? He's getting on different platforms with that IWTV championship. Is he still a champion, by the way? Did I miss him?
No,
lose the belt?
he dropped the belt to Wheeler, Utah.
Oh, hey, and somebody who's been on New Japan Strong, But again, that's also happening on that level too, because I'm watching guys float. This Forbidden Door thing that we talk about. I'm watching like there's like guys that I just saw on both Impact and AEW are now on Strong this week, right?
Yeah, I mean, you look at a guy. So like wrestling's changed in that type of way, and I think I like using Lee as a good example of like Lee has found a way to kind of be. I sometimes call him like the Chance the Rapper of independent wrestling, because like I remember there's a line in one of Chance's songs where he said, "I'm the guy who made not having a big deal not a big deal." Like the fact that Lee Moriarty doesn't have a big deal isn't a big deal because he's Lee Moriarty. He's doing his thing. Now he's also riding the wave as you look at a guy like Zack Ryder, who has found a way to not have a big deal right now, but be a big deal in that he's doing stuff at GCW. He made stops at Impact. He made stops at AEW.
Yep.
His name's out there constantly as a draw and someone that you might be interested in, all without the pain and suffering that comes with, hey, here's the money, but you got to do everything we say all the time. You can't do anything else. Now some of those guys are happy with those deals, and good for them. If you get paid every single day, if every week a check clears because you get to be a wrestler, that's a great life if that's what you want to do. And I don't befault anyone who signs a deal to get paid to be a professional wrestler, no matter where it's at. But if this is what you want to do, it's become such a way to. Independent wrestling is its own thing in a way that like I don't remember it ever being like this. Even at like you talk about the peak heydays of like Pittsburgh independent wrestling of like late 90s, early 2000s, and the crowds they would draw and stuff like that. This is on a different level just because you can reach so many more people across the country. In IWTVs or fights or like even YouTube channels. Like credit where credit is due. Enjoy has found a market on YouTube that has brought their product out locally. That has found a really good way of doing things.
And it's a whole different vector than anybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Too.
No, I know the people from Enjoy
in the area. I mean, I'm
talking about the area now, because Kurt and the people over Enjoy are very good people, and like I will say this is the sincerest form of flattery I can give them. Like I hate them. It's a serious form of flattery, because I see their stuff and I go, I should have done that. That should have been me.
Well,
I thought of that and I didn't do that.
And I'm in the same way with video too. I take a critical eye, but also like the what can bring in, like it all kind of, and I do like that there are people that I can watch and it isn't just like it's kind of okay not being the only game on video in town, right? Because now it's just like, oh, I'm just like kind of creating the game, and I was like, oh, these guys are doing something different. Okay, let's take some notes here, and I'm sure they're doing the same thing with what we're doing, and everything like that. So
and Enjoy's been a really nice. I know their entire team's going to be at the show on Saturday at Ryse. They're going to be there and they support us, and I know. Brandon was at the taping for a little bit that they did to talk to people, hang out a little bit and stuff. We specifically have always tried to kind of play nice. That doesn't mean we always play nice, and doesn't mean we're the best at it. I admit my faults. I'm in therapy right now, But no, like that's the thing is like, and I'll admit it. When I watch other products, I'm definitely watching for like, well, what are they doing and why is it good or why is it not good or what worked and what didn't work. I'm in that boat. And the thing is like I can do that everywhere. If I want to watch GCW stuff, I can pull it up. If I want to watch Beyond stuff, I can pull it up. I want to watch AIW's Go for Broke series on IWTV, which is a very different way to do a pandemic thing. If you want to check out XYZ, like there's ways to do it, and you can learn so much in a way that like before it was like you just watched old Brett and Shawn matches. That was how you learned. And now there's just so much more ways to do it. Like you look at what GCW has done, you know, pending lawsuits, but you look what they've done in that they've become a real player in a market that I didn't ever think that there would be another player like that.
Absolutely. It definitely feels like in some of the conversations, like, you know, whether it be Facebook feuds or whatever, it just feels like everybody was in their own Pittsburgh bubble. And I remember the conversations with a lot of wrestlers like, you got to get out of here just to see what the rest is like and seeing some of those flourish, you know, like Lee and Frost and Benjamin and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's kind of like you, like no matter where you are, there's probably this wrestling bubble and you think that's it. And you're trying to like, oh, I need to get to this company because this is the top and this is my key to the next step. But it's like, no, like there are other that top companies and you need that variety. So
I remember I got on the road whenever I was like a little bit younger. And like I was fresh off of getting fired and I was like, oh, what am I going to do? This is before Ryse. And I was like, I need to do something. And so I just started going to wrestling shows, and I would go to these wrestling shows at like, you know, Ohio, Philly, West Virginia, Indiana, wherever. You just get in a car and you go.
Yeah.
And I would get there and I'd be like, man, this place is so great.
Yeah.
Oh my God, everyone here is so nice. There's no drama. No one's mad at each other.
Yeah.
This place is stuff. And then you tell someone who like worked there regularly, who's one of their like every month people, you'd be like, hey man, this place is awesome. There's no drama here. And they go, oh no, there's a ton of drama. It's just not your drama.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. That makes sense. It's not my drama, so that's why I'm not involved.
But there's still a lot of great companies. Like I you know,
Yes.
like I can still say like everybody that I work with right now is like, you know, talking about drama or whatever are like the I want to say the chillest companies is the greatest broad term I can use, but like everybody works with each other and appreciate what's going on, and it's a joy to work with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I think
think
that's really, you know, and this is something that I bring to anybody that is in a job and was like, oh, I'm miserable going to work every day or every week or every month, whatever the thing is with wrestling. And it was just like, yeah, man, there's other jobs out there. There's other promotions out there. There's other companies. There's other bosses. Like, that's always the thing. There's other podcasts if Mike gets tired of me. So,
No,
I've had offers, Sorg.
oh, shit. This is where it comes out. Oh, no.
I've always said like, to touch on that briefly, when people leave WWE, I don't fault them.
No.
You know,
You mean of their own volition versus the releases?
correct.
Yeah.
If you leave WWE and you're like, hey, I don't want to work here anymore. It's just not for me.
Mhm.
You go like, okay, well that's a job.
Yeah.
Sometimes working for someone isn't good.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's great.
Mhm.
Some guys, like, we'll use The Miz as an example. The Miz has worked for the WWE for, good God, what, like 20 years? How long has he been there?
Miz,
15?
15 years, I think.
Yeah.
15 years. He's made a lot of money. He's
Mhm.
very, very happy working there. He doesn't want to leave. He's very content with his job.
Yeah.
For The Miz, that job was great. For Jon Moxley, it wasn't.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean it's a bad job. It just means
No.
for Jon Moxley, it wasn't good. And for The Miz, it was good.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean if The Miz went to AEW, he'd be happy. It seems like Jon Moxley is.
Yeah.
That's anything at all. When people sign with WWE, that's the other thing. When people get mad, they go, "Oh, I don't want that person to go there." And you go, "Why? Let them.
Yeah.
They'll either be happy or they won't." be happy.
They've
It's a job.
entertained you for all these years on the indies and building themselves up and dealing with all the BS there, you know, as they're building up. And it's like, let them be able to buy a house. You know what I mean? Like, and it does become like, you know, kind of it's the artist versus the independent artist versus the paid artist. Like, a lot of people can be we talked to, I can't remember the name, but he was an artist with Pittsburgh Magazine, a couple other things, and did art for Mr. Rogers' neighborhood show. And you know, we were talking about, and this was on the Fishing Without Bait podcast, our mindfulness podcast we do on the network, fishingwithoutbait.com. I think Jason Paul, off the top of my head, POL is the last his name. It was about around the turn of the year. But he's doing magazine. He's an artist. He makes things, and then he's doing magazine covers in that restrictive nature. Like some people are really good about like I'm going to do this independent thing and sell them at the art shows, and that's how I'm going to be. But then that's your independent wrestling. But you don't know what the next paycheck is in 2 months and how that goes, right? And the ebb and flow of that versus I'm working for say a Pittsburgh magazine. I'm doing it every month. Boom, 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 boom. But now I'm like in the restrictions of this, they're the hired artists at this point. So it's really interesting to see that. So I want to turn that to, and speaking of other alternative, other indie wrestling that I know none of this was streamed. I don't even know if some of it's there was a lot of cameras. A lot of them were cell phones. A lot of them were GoPros. I don't know where this ends up. So you guys know, as I travel, I look out thank you for WrestleMap.com, by the way, and SoCal Uncensored. You guys are freaking godsends for me when I'm traveling to be like, okay, what are the local promotions? Are they having shows that weekend when I roll into town for my thing? I'm usually, I'm on location on a track or something, and it's like, what can I go to tonight, right? I'm like, I got some stuff earmarked for the nights I'm not watching Ryse Wrestling on the stream in Las Vegas this week, for instance. It's
a real Chris Jericho approach to life you have. I don't know if you ever heard that about Jericho. When he would show up in a town that he was wrestling in, he would try to find something to do in that town.
Yeah. That's basically it. And it's just like, what am I going to do? Watch wrestling. So about like my second or third year in, I'm just like, I'm going to like random Tennessee wrestling with Jerry Lawler's on it and stuff like that, right?
You know what's really crazy to me? We're not that far removed from me talking you into flying is safe.
Is into what?
Like when you were scared to fly.
Oh, 5 years ago, I was scared to death to fly. To death. I was scared to fly.
Like, I remember you being nervous for your first flight for a show that you were doing.
Yes.
And I'm like, Sorg, it's okay. I've taken a lot of
my first flight.
I've flown to you.
I flew first flight was to California, and for family, for in-laws, and then first flight by myself was to Nashville to do a Baja event, and I had like two. I think I had one more flight for the season, and now I do like 10 flights a year. And then I went to Thailand with chest flexor, and that's when I got broken of my fear.
Chest flexor will do that for
He'll do that. There's a lot of things I'm not afraid of anymore. But anyways, I went. So Friday night, I wanted to go check some stuff out. We were located in Ann Arbor for the week for our production. We did like 6 days on a track. It was pretty interesting. You could watch Awesome Cast. I talk about it a little bit. But I found this. Let me set the stage for you. And I think I switched my camera up so you can see the production, right, Marcus? Because I want you to see these pictures. So let me set the stage. You're walking in. You see the show poster. You see nothing about the wrestling. You see nothing out. I believe the promotion, as I'm trying to read the mat at this angle, was Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit is the promotion.
That's never a good sign.
You walk in, there's this place, it's called Play Atlantis. You walk in, it looks like, I don't know if you know the Fun Zone out in Harmer. I know you guys did a show up the street from it. So you go in and there's arcade, there's a laser tag, there's some other stuff, like it's a Fun Zone kind of thing. And I was like, I walk in, and I was like, I saw in the posters like the show's outdoors, so I'm like, I see nowhere to go. I'm like, hey, where's the wrestling? And there's that back door in the back door. I'm like, okay. So exit through the gift shop style. I have to go through this arcade. There is the most inflatable Fun Zone things inside a building I've ever seen. Everything is ocean and shark themed. I walk out the back door. There's a guy sitting there who I later find out is
Tenta?
No John Tentas, amazingly. Well, I was going to say how they'd not book him, but I remembered the reason. So, R.I.P. John Tenta. And I walk out and I watch, and this is literally the scene. This picture is literally the scene as I walked out the back door and paid my money to who I later learned was the owner of the company, the wrestling company, not the Play Atlantis. And there's a wrestling ring. There's some scattered chairs around. There's some tables. And you see in the background there is some go-karts. And to the back of me is I am sorry, Play Atlantis, the saddest looking putt-putt course I've ever seen. It was definitely needed some TLC, and this is happening.
Okay, can I comment on this first photo?
Okay, the first photo. Go ahead.
Okay, so first photo. Here's what I'm going to say.
Yes.
So there's no one who brought their own chair.
No. Yeah, no.
So that's good news.
Wait. Actually, no. He's out of frame.
Okay.
Okay.
So one
he's
guy.
out of frame.
One guy.
Yeah.
One
There's
guy.
at least one, maybe two.
It's
yeah.
mostly they had actual chairs.
Yes.
That's a good sign so far. Can we go back to the photo? I need to see it again.
Hold on. I also have a picture of the putt-putt if you want to see that real quick.
I do.
I want to see the putt-putt, absolutely.
All right, there's the putt-putt action there.
That's
I
not
mean,
bad.
I mean, it could use a little weed whack around here.
Is that a
you know.
cart path?
No. Well, yeah, it looks kind of like, right. So it's a little bit.
You have to judge. You have to judge a putt-putt by the placement of their physics rocks.
Okay. I didn't get that deep into the putt-putt, unfortunately.
Okay.
I mean, granted, like I was just seeing like the Great Pirates Cove one in Orlando, like literally like on Sunday before this. So and Dutters had her Ocean City putt-putt tour on Instagram, so my expectations were heightened. I will admit.
Right.
Okay. So, but I'm just saying,
Sorg, as someone
contextually
who has played Pirates Cove in Orlando several times.
And by the way,
over the course of my life, and gotten a hole-in-one on the last hole, by the way.
Oh.
In my youth, you know, not to brag, but I'm going to brag.
Right.
Sorg, that is the caviar of mini golf courses.
Yeah, okay, that's nice to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Look,
all right.
This isn't Holy Moly airing this Thursday on ABC at 8:00. All right, it's a great show. You should watch Holy Moly. Anyway, let's go back to that first photo.
Holy crap! And by the way,
I love Holy Moly.
Oh yeah, Holy Moly is great.
Holy Moly is fantastic.
And by the way,
Season 3 is starting
and shout out to Norm Connors, the former owner promoter of IWC, for the great recommendation on Orlando that was across the street from the Pirates Cove that helped me discover that. A great, I think it was Tutu Casa or something like that. A great. It was like art. There was art, and it was a tapas bar, which is small plates. Oh, perfect. Let's
go back to this photo.
All right, let's go back to hold on.
I want to comment on this photo.
All right, we go back to putt-putt. We got the putt-putt. Let's go back to the photo itself. Yeah,
okay.
Here we go.
So there we go. In the chat, Edric points out a good point. That is a nice canvas.
That is a nice canvas.
Nice canvas.
It's a little faded, but yeah, it's nice.
Still, I'll say this. I know any wrestling show. Generally speaking, I know it's going to be bad. When I look at the ring aprons, that is a big thing for me.
Okay.
Ring aprons are very good. If you got saggy, bad ring aprons, the show they're not paying attention to detail. I can tell you that right now. If they have no ring aprons, I'm very worried.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is about a no ring apron show. I get very worried about the product. But if they have nice ring aprons, and this ring has some nice ring aprons and a good canvas.
Yeah.
The ropes look taut.
Mm-hmm.
I am not worried so far.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, all right, this might be a good product.
The ropes in practice were very very worrisome.
Okay, that's bad news.
I will say,
bad news.
my first comment when I first saw them hitting the ropes and doing some stuff on them, I said, Facade would not like these ropes.
No, I got to see the ropes.
Yeah.
I got to see them hit.
You got to see them in action.
One person hit, and you go, ooh.
I will say, seeing that picture, I recently watched the David Arquette documentary on Hulu.
Yes.
That looks, the picture you're showing us, Sorg, looks way better than the ring that David Arquette wrestled in.
Oh yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Way better.
I'm concerned because it's in a field with plastic chairs.
Yes.
But it is COVID.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they have a nice canvas.
And
the
Michigan
ring aprons are taut.
Yes.
I'm interested in the product they are presenting.
All right. So I want to say, and I also want to say, I loved this show. I loved this show from top to bottom because it was wild. It was fun.
I believe you have a curiosity.
So first of all, I also want to point out next on my slideshow, on my travel slideshow, no bumps at this show. Okay.
All right.
There was that was a sign from the go-karts, but I just want to. Let's see what else we have here. We have that's the big one. First of all, I want to note a faction. There's a faction of in a trios match, and then apparently their leader is the champion of this promotion. I will also point out I saw a lot of these people, including this faction, 2 nights later at the other show I went to. So which was not the same promotion.
So,
we'll
a lot of drama in Detroit local wrestling.
Or working together. Like I was told this is a feeder promotion into the other promotion, so they work together. Referee George was giving me some heads up about this, I believe.
Right.
So first of all, I want to point out Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's
matching.
That is
definitely licensed material.
Yes.
I can't tell on the tights, but they don't look.
No, absolutely not.
They look pretty.
I think
generic.
one was wearing shorts. So, and of course that was topped off with that was interrupted because apparently Cobra Kai has a feud with the Soul Taker.
The Soul Taker.
Mm-hmm.
The Soul Taker.
You have my curiosity.
Yes.
Now you have my attention.
There you go.
Now, here's the thing about the Soul Taker. I want to point out something about the Soul Taker has been around a long time.
Yes, I found out how long you told me. I'm like, oh God, you've been around a while. So
I've never seen a full Soul Taker match.
Okay, I've seen at least 2.
I've seen clips.
And I'm going to tell you, I did not see one on this night.
Okay.
Excellent.
He came out. Apparently, he's feuding with the Cobra Kai.
I mean, as you do.
And he
it's a natural enemy.
And he determined he's going to choke slam them darkest to lightest, and of course that's a champion. So it's just like, okay, this is fun. Okay, and I did see him. No, I saw him 2 years ago at a big time wrestling show, International Big Time Wrestling, in Detroit, Del Rey actually. So
what the hell is big time wrestling, and how do people get on that show?
What's that?
What the hell is big time wrestling, and how do people get on that?
It
show?
is the
It is like
it
is the weirdest wrestling economy I've ever seen in my life.
Detroit wrestling is wild, dude. Okay, wait. Big time. Okay, International Big Time Wrestling. I by the way, I think there was another show that weekend, and I saw like that was south of Detroit, like kind of out in the cut, and it had like Katie Arquette, and it had Celeste Taylor and Zoe. Zoe Sky, thank you. Like it was a good show and stuff like that.
Great.
But then I went to International Big Time Wrestling on the Sunday after my event, and it was at a bar. I think it was actually a Spanish bar in Del Rey, which I know because that's where ICP is from. And I didn't know until I was there that it was run by the Rude Boy of Psychopathic Records and JCW fame. And Beastman was there. Thomas Mathis was a referee that night for some reason. And let's see. Beastman took on Congo Kong. Soul Taker was there, and it was free pizza day.
Like big time wrestling is this weird.
But actually, no.
Where,
the show was free. And you had to pay for the pizza. That's right.
Okay. So big time wrestling is this weird economy where it's like, oh, there's like legends on it. And there's like really great wrestlers, and then there's like the worst people that have ever been involved in wrestling are like on the undercard sometimes.
And then
like,
this was the Hall of Fame night of big time wrestling. I don't know who DBA is and MM3 and a bunch of dudes I forgot. I'm just like, oh, this is all Detroit wrestling.
It defies.
There were 20 people there.
Logic to me.
There were 20 people there.
Logic.
There were 20 fans. Yes.
I don't, and it's like all over the country, I think.
International Big Time. There's Big Time Wrestling, and then there's International Big Time Wrestling. That's the Detroit promotion. Big Time Wrestling. You're thinking the one that has like Kane and Altoona and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's different. That's something else.
That's completely.
That's like a Big Time Wrestling and NEW, Northeast Wrestling, that do the ballpark shows. Yeah. Again, I've worked. I don't think have I been to a Big Time Wrestling. Which one had Sting at the ballpark? I think that was Big Time.
That might have been. Yeah.
That was
I know
Big Time.
I know Northeast has had Sting.
Yes, and I've worked for I've worked for Northeast, and that was a High Spots joint up in Niles, and Rob has too, and they're very interesting. It's interesting.
Is that the he's a nice guy of video production? It's very interesting.
I'm not gonna say. We'll keep that for off air. Yes, I'm going to say it is. I'm going to say it is. I had one major issue with that night. That is definitely a business issue. That I won't get into here any further. I've already buried it enough. But anyways, But so the international big time wrestling, it confused me too. Not that local Detroit Rude Boys promotion. It's no. There's 20 people. It was pizza night. You know, that's it. It was a free show. So okay, there's that, and it was limited tickets because they could literally fit like 25 people in there. So there's that.
So they almost sold.
Why are they running a
They
show?
almost sold out.
I don't even know. But I mean, if you could sell pizza to 25 people, I guess it's a good night. I don't know, man. It was just.
I've been on shows that didn't have 25.
Dude,
people.
Detroit's wild, man. But it was like, but then I'm getting like Congo Kong and Beastman. I'm like, what the fuck? And the Soul Taker, and I've never seen Soul Taker before. And then I learned about his other name later, and then Hank Hudson announced him as it. Thank you, Gregory Iron Podcast. And I was like, there's a whole thing here. Holy shit. I'm sold. And also just, you know.
Are you aware of his manager?
There was an overweight druid that fucked up and hit him with a chair, and it was at the Sunday show at XICW. So is that the manager?
No. Are you aware of his manager? This was pre-name change.
Okay.
And the Soul Taker's manager was Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Of course it was. Listen,
it was a product of its time.
Yes.
That was uncomfortable for a lot of us when it was happening.
Okay.
And it continues to be uncomfortable to this day.
Listen, it's weird. It's kind of fucked up, and that's what shit I love about wrestling. Okay, and that's where we're at. So he's on this show. He chokeslams all the karate guys. And I also
so like an episode of Raw.
Yeah, it was like an episode of Raw.
Did any of them try to sweep his leg?
Oh man, there was some yelling of that, of course. Okay. So and all this, and then I saw the mysterious
because Sorg, you know why they're feuding, right?
Why?
They took all of Soul Taker's body bags.
There it is. I just made that connection. Oh, there's some more beautiful. There's some more beautiful pictures of Brandon K's vacation on Facebook. Look at that. So I saw the mysterious Movado, who was their I think Cruiser Core champion, and had Beastman on a couple weeks ago, and that's his partner in Planet Husk at Warrior Wrestling. So that was a nice connection. And then, okay, here, I'm just gonna give you a promotion picture again of the ring. And Marcus, I kind of like your upfront first takes on this. Okay. So this is XICW, I believe. It was at Hot Rock Sports Bar and Music Cafe in Warren, Michigan, north of Detroit. Like you could pretty much, we were pretty close to Detroit itself. So okay. All right, so it's a bar. You know, you had to pay for the booths. I'm in like the last row in like a section. There's definitely a post, and I can't see the left side of the ring.
Yeah. Okay. So first and foremost, the canvas does look tight. The ring aprons look good.
Okay. Good.
They got some custom turnbuckles there. Those are nice. They're doing the black, red, and black. Let's see what else.
The lights.
So the lights are a little low, and I'm very worried about any top rope. Top rope maneuvers. So that's immediately what
I'm worried about any choke slams.
So that was
vertical suplex.
That was a concern all night. No. And shout outs to Sam Beal, who went straight American Gladiators when he got picked up, grabbed the post and started kicking the guy. So shouts to Sam Beal for that. Also on intermission, I talked to Sam Beal. I'm like, dude, I was at this wild show on Friday night, and there was between the go karts and Papa, and he's just like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was like, oh, this is just a thing up here. Okay, like Detroit, you're fucking wild. I love it. So this was their Proving Ground show, which is apparently it was.
I love indie wrestling.
It was. I know, because how many Proving Grounds?
All
are
the
there,
same.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's doing the same thing. But they like there were judges, and there were rookies versus vets, and there were like 10 matches. The show started at almost 6:00. Bell was supposed to be 5:30, and ended, I think, close till 10 o'clock. It may have ended after NXT TakeOver that night. But I'm just like, listen. The first show was $12. This one was $10. We got our money's worth. Who else was on this thing? So it was like vets. So I learned about a lot of guys, including Mongo, a lot of other names I'm forgetting off the top of my head. There was a brawl, including DBA, who's a great local legend. MM3, I saw a great match with him. There was a guy in a hard hat that was just wild all night, and they were trying to do this fan interaction. They had a raffle. Here we go, Marcus. I'm going to put this on you. Say something so I have you on this. So, Marcus, I want to see your face when I say this to you. Okay? Hold on. Give me a little more noise so it pops up here.
Oh no. I don't know why.
So they had a raffle, and you could get one of three things in the raffle. You can manage a wrestler, commentate, or book a match.
Ooh.
I think book a match is the safest of the three.
A child is the commentator.
Well, so everybody's like, you ever seen
again? I don't know where the video's going too. I don't know. They're not.
Yeah,
I looked. They're not on IWTV. I haven't dived in any further. So, and this is by the way, this is Proving Ground season 8.
Of course. So have you ever watched the SNL bit, which is like Andy Samberg as like the kid who gets to do football commentary?
Yeah. Okay.
And he's like this. It's like the first play, and it's like a first down. He's like, "That'll move the chains," and like, "Good call." And then like he just says, "That'll move the chains" over and over and over until like that's the only thing he says.
Yep.
That's what a child on commentary is.
Sorg, do you want to know something really fun about this promotion? Because now I'm looking up on Cage Match because of course I am. So the main event was for the XICW Extreme Intense title and the Proving Grounds title.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Dread King Logan and Tommy Vendetta.
Yes.
Neither of them have cage match profiles.
Oh no. Oh no. And that ended. And by the way, that ended because there was a thing where they they came out, drew numbers, and the vets chose their rookies that all wrestled that night. Mm-hmm. There was the main event, which got broken up as all of the rookies came out and started beating people up, and then all the vets came up and started beating them up. And also, who else was on this show? I buried the lead because once again I saw and then met the SOULKEEPER.
Mm-hmm.
And bought this T-shirt I've been wearing all night. Soul Taker. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you.
Soul Taker does.
Yeah.
Soul Taker does have a profile on Cage Match.
Of course he does.
Look, I don't have a profile on Cage Match, and I had 2 successful matches.
Does Joe Dombrowski have one? I mean, he had one.
Ooh,
I think,
I'm
right?
gonna look.
Oh, now this is a fight.
Yeah,
now
I don't
this
have
is
one.
a fight.
I was involved in a tag team match that was Jack Paul, Peyton Graham, and myself versus Remy LeVay and Keith Hott.
Joe Dombrowski does have a.
I don't have one, and I was in another 6-man tag match where I got kicked in the face by Jack Paul. That happens pretty regularly.
By the way, I bought this shirt. Looked up because there was a match that was happening, tag match.
How much was the shirt? What's he selling those shirts for? Was that 20?
It was 20. It was 20. And they're nice quality shirts, and there's stuff on the back that I probably don't want to wear outside of a wrestling show, because I would just say his and I didn't buy a hat that he offered me because his slogan is "No Souls Matter."
Hey,
Hey,
Sorg, do you want to hear the 3 comments on Joe Dombrowski on Cage Match?
Hold on, put a pin in that for a minute. I want to finish the story, but I definitely want to get back to that. So they had a tag match. They fought over like in my area. There's a video up there on Facebook. And then while this is happening, over my shoulder is the one guy's father, but the guys in the tag team, The Purge, and his father is over my shoulder talking about like, that's my son right there. He's a school teacher during the week,
Ruining it
who I had a long conversation with him during the main event, by the way. So I go over, buy the shirt as it's happening in this picture, look up, and somebody's on fire because Detroit. I think he lit himself. I think DBA lit his arm on fire to deliver like an elbow off the top rope to finish the match. It was the finish. Don't worry, it was the finish. But yeah. Yeah,
I'm not cool with fire.
No, me neither.
That's a pretty.
Me neither.
Pretty
Marcus,
no-go conversation.
I was in the cage during a fire table spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with fire.
And then someone went, "Is it hot enough for you?"
how flammable is a ring apron? But anyways, so there's that, and now please, Mad Mike, and I'll give him a shout again. Pro Wrestling All Stars of Detroit, XICW of Detroit. I was mistaken. I thought it was a promotion I saw 2 years ago, but that was another 4-letter word that I don't remember right now. MP something or other. So
it's all alphabet soup, man. It's all alphabet soup.
And I know we're having fun, but like seriously, like I had a blast at both of these shows. Maybe more at the one out by the the go-karts. Oh, there's a train going by too, and they we're obviously keeping the show going because a thunderstorm was coming. We were outside.
Yeah, look, like we are having fun a little bit, and I definitely have fun with all this stuff. And like here's the thing I want to say. I was thinking about this the other day, and this isn't long, I promise, but it's gonna sound like it's long because the premise is long. In the modern era of wrestling, we'll say is like the last 50 years, maybe 10% of it been actually good.
Mm-hmm.
Most wrestling is pretty terrible.
Yeah,
it's got its reputation for a reason in the general population.
Yeah.
It's whenever you see a TV commercial about professional wrestling or like a local car commercial that does like a wrestling thing or any of that type of stuff, it has that connotation with the public because it is that.
Mm-hmm.
It is that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's goofy and it's dumb. And you know what? Like, I sometimes think about this. Like, if I show up to a professional wrestling show and I don't see something that's like cliche-y wrestling, I'm going to be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to see that type of stuff sometimes.
See, and this is why I do this, right? Because I want to see how other promotions do things. No matter what the level, going on everything from a WOW taping at a Belasco Theater in downtown LA to Lucha Underground and NXT and. Sorry for closing down Full Sail, guys. To this and dirt floor wrestling in Tennessee that Jerry Lawler's on, and just wild shit like that. Because this is wrestling, right? Yep. Wide arm motions for you guys on audio. This all is wrestling, and this encompasses all of it down from like this, like what is this weird stuff in a backyard to what happens on WrestleMania. Like that is this full spectrum of wrestling, and I hope if anything happens with things like this show, we celebrate all of that.
Yeah, and I think specifically, and I'm very guilty of this at times, and I know like anyone can be guilty of this, especially if you are involved in wrestling in any sort of way. You can kind of get a little snooty about it or snobbish about wrestling.
Especially if you produce in some
that's
fashion.
not good
Absolutely.
because of acts. Or,
yeah.
You can get a little snobby about it, and you can watch these types of products and go like, well, that's just not actually professional wrestling in a way that it should be done. And it's like, go fuck yourself. Like, are people enjoying it?
Yeah.
Are people entertained by the product that's being given to them? Is that company making money entertaining people?
Yeah.
Then they're being successful at it.
Yeah.
As we talked, it's getting nichier and nichier, and maybe that's not for you, but there's no right way or wrong way to do this. Now, there is a wrong way to do this, trust me, because people get hurt and, shit like that. So trust me, there is a wrong way to do it. I'm not trying to. But if you're entertaining people in a safe way and the wrestlers are being taken care of and stuff like that, the idea that like, oh, well, that's not good or that is good or what is not, like, just you're a fucking nerd. Shut the fuck up. Just enjoy a fucking wrestling show. Like, it's people are punching each other in the face. Just enjoy it.
On that note, Marcus, what have you learned from my slideshow tonight? This is my question. I said I was going to do a short show, but fuck, Marcus is on.
I ramble.
It's good, though. It's good stuff. It makes up for us not doing a full show next week.
So first and foremost, I've learned the term Dixiness. And I learned that you can't judge every show by the ring aprons.
Mm-hmm.
Look, just don't be a nerd, man. Just like, it's wrestling, and it's going to be a little weird sometimes, and sometimes it's not going to be for you. But like the next match, someone's going to punch someone in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So just fucking watch it.
Yep. I learned I get really angry if somebody being in the main event gets into a rest hold and there's a storm coming. Don't buy time. There's a storm coming. No fucking
Tony
rest holds.
Storm, Lance Storm, or like an actual storm.
No, there was like lightning.
Oh, okay.
rolling
Yeah,
out.
that's
Like,
not the best time to practice your Randy Orton shit.
no, it isn't. No, I'm just like, it's just like, why are you in a rest hold? There's a storm coming. You're not fucking Randy Orton. So, I was that fan. But anyways, but yeah, again, a blast there. And then, by the way, at the end of the show, in the rain, Soulkeeper came out because their champion was like LJ the Karate Guy or something. So that was the leader of Cobra Kai. But anyways, Mike, what did you learn? Not necessarily from my slideshow, but yeah.
Before I get to what I learned, I wanted to make sure I read these comments about Joe Dombrowski on Cage.
Oh shit! Yes, please.
I want to learn about Joe Dombrowski.
There are 4 comments. Okay, there are 4 comments.
Can you, by the way, can you tell us when they were posted?
Oh yes, I'm absolutely going to.
Yeah, I think we need context on that one.
Yes, absolutely. So this is from January 22nd, 2009.
Ooh, all right.
He rated Joe Dombrowski a 7 out of 10.
On commentary?
Yes.
Okay.
And the comment just says, Guten Commentator, which I looked it up, means good commentator.
He did do a stint with 1PW in England, so he probably got a little bit international out of that.
Okay. Now, this is from August 17th, 2013.
Okay, more recent.
He rated Joe a 2.0. Said, just an awful commentator, in my opinion, might be the worst I've heard in my 21 plus years as a wrestling fan.
Oh, I have some tapes for you, sir.
Does this guy not listen to commentary?
I was gonna say, has he never seen Raw?
Is he only listening to me?
Okay, but it gets better. It
Okay.
gets better. This is from June 2nd, 2014.
Okay.
Another,
a year later, about a year later.
A year later, another 7.
Okay. He's improved.
This guy needs to be in a mainstream company, a great commentator, as well as a booker writer. He should be a valuable addition to any promotion.
Oh, that's somebody.
That's a really good comment.
That's somebody trying to get a spot on the roster.
Well, that's a really good comment. That's not a 7 then.
No.
That's too good of a comment for a 7. You're gonna say that, then he's a 9. If you want him on TV, I think he's at least a 9 or a 10 if you're gonna put that comment out there.
I would say so. Okay, and the last one is from November 21st, 2017.
Okay.
It's an 8.0. So
His highest
improved
yet.
even more, yeah.
Oh, hey.
Now it's a very long comment in German, but luckily, thanks to Google Translate,
yes.
I subscribe to his YouTube channel. Has lots of free wrestling content on it. Partly rarities that are otherwise very difficult to see. I think he's good. That's what he does. How he stands up for indie wrestling and does his thing.
Stands up. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So I mean, overall positive.
Well, that's good. That's good.
That's good.
In a future episode, I'm going to have Mad Mike read the comments to the IndieWrestling.us YouTube page, because this is actually kind of interesting, especially when he translates those, because I never bothered. I'll probably delete half of them, because
I'm glad to see that Joe Dombrowski improved over time.
Yes.
He's really found his footing in the German audience specifically. And I'm excited for the future for Joe Dombrowski. It can only go higher.
That's right.
If he continues on this path and he continues to lug people like me to slapdash performances. I give Joe all the credit. I have done commentary with Joe, and I have done commentary with Joe where I was way out of my element and could take a breath because I had Joe Dombrowski as a safety blanket. It's amazing.
It is interesting because I've seen him paired with a variety of people over the years, and when he has to do some of the heavy work and stuff, but he makes it all kind of pull together, right? So
there are a few better, period. And
yes.
on national television, there are people right now that aren't nearly as prepared, as smart, and as able to put over a product the way Joe does.
No, absolutely.
And I get commentary jobs now only because I have got to a C level thanks to Joe Dombrowski. So I give that dude a lot of credit for what he's done for me.
He is. Marcus
But
Mann.
he's still not 10. He's still not 10 out of 10.
No, still not 10. Still not
Marcus
10.
Mann, thank you so much for joining us. We're not done. Oh, shit, that's
learned. I've learned stuff, Sorg.
I got a flight in like 6 hours. I
learned that if you are good enough, it doesn't matter if you get released. You can be hired back immediately.
This happened twice now.
Yes, Samoa Joe and Drake Maverick, both TNA alums.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
Both TNA alums.
They both got that deep down Dixiness.
By the way, Dixiness can also be used to judge the quality of paper cups.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, as a catch-all term, the more Dixiness your cup, the better quality. I'm going to say it.
And if you ever want to know the level of Dixiness happening in a promotion, you can reference Marcus Mann on the social medias.
I guess. It's like social media is a trap, and we should all get off of it as soon as possible. If you want to follow me,
I was trying to lead into the plug, but go ahead.
Yeah, if you want to follow me on social media, it's at Marcus Mann BHS on my Twitter. There you'll find some probably political views you disagree with, and some wrestling talk, some NBA talk, and a whole thing about how pitchers are using spider tack now. That's basically my Twitter account.
Let Marcus know if you are a season 1 salute your shorts guy, or a season 2 salute your shorts.
There it is.
That's important for me to know. Also, what year you got into wrestling, all those types of things. I'm ready to talk on social media. I just don't want to. I just hate it, and I hate being there. Don't follow me on Facebook. I stopped with friend requests. I'm just not accepting anyone anymore. I just done with it. I went off of that place. Went off of that. I'm glad we're in a Facebook chat right now. And your product is mainly Facebook as I can ridicule the product. I hate Facebook. I think it's ruining all of our lives. So you can find, but I would check out Ryse's Facebook.
And
it hasn't ruined your life yet.
And that's
check out
why
Ryse's Facebook.
They're streaming Ryse Wrestling. Buy tickets, RyseWrestling.com. And of course,
on Twitch.tv/Jim Sterling this Saturday.
Yes.
Live stream 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be our pre-show 7:30 live. We will go. And Sorg will vouch for on this. Ryse Wrestling. We are pretty much at 7:30 on the dot. You won't wait 20 minutes for the stream to kick in. We are pretty good. We run on bell. We are very, very efficient. So 7:30 Eastern Standard Time is the bell time. Ryse_wrestling on Twitter, Instagram. Match listings are up. Floor tickets are sold out. Buy your GA seats. Kids are still $8 if they're under 12. Come on, what are you gonna do?
There you go. There you go.
Kid,
I'm following Jim Sterling on all my Twitch accounts right now, so I don't miss it.
You gotta watch. What else are you gonna do on a Saturday night? There's still COVID restrictions. You just
sort of. Yeah. It's not hard. I don't know. It's not as fun as it used to be.
Kinda.
Yeah. So. Get out. If you want to come out and see us locally, you should do. I'm gonna plug real quick. If you're into comics, if you want to talk about the whole Batman issue that's going on right now, I would check out. We're gonna have Geekadrome Comics. We'll have a table at our event, and they are coming out. They're gonna support us and they're gonna have a table there. So they'll have comics and things like that. They have our flyers and stuff at their shop. So we would love if you like comics as well. Come out and talk to those guys. They're fantastic.
Shout out to them. I know. I think they used to do the old. I used to see them at the old Rush River Ice Gardens ROH shows taping. So they are just a hill over from us here at the studio. So
we should talk about that later.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll Mad Mike 483 on the Twitters.
Yeah. And you know what? Let me know if you were a Wild and Crazy Kids guy or a Nickelodeon Guts guy or girl.
And you can let me know if you were a He-Man or Transformers kid growing up, I guess. So at Sorgatron on all the social medias, you can see my travels. You need some stuff from the last couple of weeks in Florida and Ann Arbor and Grogu. Oh, he's not over here. Grogu has joined me for my travels, so you can see his adventures that we've had too. Again, we will be off next week. Something will be going on live-ish at 9 p.m. I'm sure. But we will be back in 2 weeks with Katie Arquette. And we do have, listen, this is the list prospectively scheduled for the return of the Indie Mayhem show.
Dun, dun, dun.
We have definitely scheduled and locked in Sam Beal of Impact Wrestling, Fight Underground, and
excellent
whatever the hell I watched this past weekend. And we also, XICW, I'm going to go check them out, seriously. But and we will also have, we got a flyer on this one, and we have some soft dates on this, but we are in talks with having Danny Limelight on the show. So
excellent.
Of AEW Dark, New Japan Strong,
and Monday Mayhem and Monday Mayhem Warrior fame. Let's be honest.
Monday May Warham, yes, and my Twitter account when I'm editing the show at 1 a.m. and watching Dark.
Mm-hmm.
So and we have a couple others, and we're looking to come back strong next month with Indie Mayhem show. So looking forward to that. Think there's anything else to play. I think that's it. This show's gone long enough, so we'll see you guys next time. Until then, Mayhem out.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.